Well, welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. We're back again with another incredible story. This woman has been an incredible champion for autistic youth, and she has a very personal connection with that. She is the founder of Play, and we'll talk about what that acronym means. But please welcome Voceta Frempong to the show. Welcome, Voceta.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, I know that we have a connection that goes back to Jamaica, right? And you're originally from St. Catherine's, one of the parishes in Jamaica, and so is my father. So that is very cool. So we're going to have to do a little bit of digging later on to see if there's maybe some kind of personal family tie. But I'm just really proud of everything that you're doing. I know it's a huge undertaking, but you know, I believe that God gives us everything that we have that we can handle. And you are the CEO and president of Play.
Yes.
So tell us, how did that begin?
So when I had my second child, which is my son, my older son, a little bit past 2, he developed normal, and then he slowed down a bit, and then we were a little bit concerned that he stopped talking. So we, you know, again, back having a Caribbean background, most parents are like, oh, he's just slow, especially boys. They're lazy and stuff. So said, no, let's just get it.
You had a daughter first, right?
Right.
Okay,
so I had my daughter. So
Mm-hmm.
comparing, they're like, oh, you know, boys are usually slower than girls and stuff. I'm like, no. We decided to get him checked out, and we got a diagnosis that he was autistic. And having that, you know, I kind of freaked out a little bit, because as a mom, you did everything right. You took your vitamins, you went to your appointments, and you're like, what happened? Like, you know.
Did you blame yourself?
I did at first. There was nights when I literally cried. And I'm like, okay, you know, I can't do this. My mom always says, just like what you said, God only gives you what he knows you can handle. And I get a little emotional when I talk about it sometimes. You know, I did my work, did my research, and I started doing stuff. And then a couple of years later down the road, I had another child. This is about 8 years later. He also got diagnosed with autism around 2. Same thing, developed normal. And then all of a sudden, he just stopped doing everything. No eye contact, no talking, no babbling, nothing. The really good part about it, I had a really good pediatrician who jumped on everything. And because we had already gone through this process, she was able to get me the help and, you know, put me into the right resources like Aerial Kids and all those different places to get therapy. I mean, that is the key, is intervention.
Yes,
Early intervention. The quicker you can get them in an environment where they can get the therapy, they can interact with other kids. I mean, as a young couple, for both my husband and myself, putting both boys in daycare was hard. The good thing, one was in school, but then daycare was really expensive. And I was a stay-at-home mom, because by this time now, I had to give up my full-time job to stay home. Between therapy and both boys, we couldn't afford it. So I had to give it up. And I always knew I wanted to do something charitable in the field of autism, because I'm like, okay, this is something that hits home, and it hits really close to home. Couldn't find anything that wasn't competitive. Other than swimming, which they weren't really learning much in swimming, because they weren't really understanding what was being told to them. So it was kind of hard. So from there, we just started looking for programs that would help them.
Okay. And specifically to develop them physically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And also getting them that social interaction that they needed. And, you know, that's when Play came about. And it just took off from there. What Play is, we got together with a bunch of friends, and we said, let's start something for these youths. We created our own recreation program. It's a sports program geared towards kids that is autistic. And this is the word Play stands for physical lifestyle for autistic youth. So that's where the acronym Play comes in.
Very clever.
Yeah, it was really good. And we teach, so what Play does is, so once a week, We have the boys come out, or girls. We mostly have boys. We don't have a lot of girls, so we're trying to get more girls in the program.
Why is that?
I think it's a little bit harder for the girls to come and be physically active. Most kids on the spectrum don't want to be active. They want to stay at home. They want to be on the iPad because they're really smart kids. Like, they're really, really smart kids. So they don't want to, it's almost like they get bored in certain environments. So we kind of have to force them to come out and be physically active, because that was one of the key too for myself, that my older boy was putting on a lot of weight. My older son was putting on a lot of weight. And I'm like, okay, we got to do something to get him out, to get him active. And that's where play came about. What we do in the classes, so once a week we come out, we have a location in Brampton and a location in Mississauga, and we teach them just the fundamental skills of basketball and soccer. That's it, while having fun. They're interacting with their peers, and the parents are not involved. So we take away that security blanket of them having the parents there. That way they're forced to interact with the staff and the other kids in the program.
Well, that's amazing. It also probably affords a little bit of freedom for the parents too, to take that hour to themselves, right?
It gives them the opportunity to still stay close by, go grab a coffee, grab some groceries. Because when you have a child on the spectrum, and I personally don't do it either, like, I don't take my boys to the grocery store. Because one, they're either picking up too much stuff, putting in your cart, or two, they're having a meltdown because they don't want to be in that environment. It's too noisy. There's too many sensory issues going on, so they don't want to be there. So it gives them that opportunity. And it also gives them the opportunity to get away from being around the parents.
And it's an environment where outside voices are encouraged, right? So they can holler and
Scream
shout,
and
scream, do what
and
they
even
want to
if
do.
they have a meltdown, we know how to deal with it.
Right.
We have our senior coordinator, Shanice Bassel. She's amazing with the boys, and she does these little things that calms them down. Even the kids that are nonverbal that we have a few kids that are nonverbal in class, and she has ways that gets them to do these things and to do the drills. And I've seen one child that has gone through a program, a youth, he's outgrown it now. When he started with us, like the first year we did it, he didn't even want to hold the ball. And by the time he left 4 years later, he was dribbling the ball. And his mom didn't want him to leave the program, but unfortunately at the age of 18, they're no longer interested in it because they're now in that adulthood stage. And it's like, okay, I don't want to be playing basketball. I want to be at home. And because they're so strong and they says, no, I'm not doing it, you can't really force them at that age, kind of thing.
Okay, so what are the age ranges?
So we start them off at 6. We sometimes take them a little bit earlier if they're able to handle the environment. Right now, we still have a mixed class with the younger and the older boys, but as we move forward, if we get more kids in the program, we tend to split up the classes and have the younger boys younger youths work together, and then the older ones more do drills. Even now, we do it just to kind of have the boys that are older kind of do their own thing and be a little bit more active in the drills that we do with each other. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And what kind of support are you getting from the community?
Right now, so the last 11 years, we've been incorporated. So we're a nonprofit. We've been incorporated since 2011. So for the last 11 years, we started out running. When I first started doing fundraising, we were donating to Autism Speak, and then we started our own non-for-profit, and we've been running a charity golf tournament each year. And my husband's company does a lot of support through his networking because he's not really into like other stuff. My way of getting him involved in autism is to run the golf tournament because he loves golfing. So we do a charity fundraiser each year that actually pays for the program right now. We're now moving into applying for grants because we got our charity status. So now we're moving into the community, getting the word out there, trying to branch out for new locations. And this is one of the things that we're really trying to get more word out there and advertise, is so that we can do more locations and open up the program to more youths, because there's a lot of youths out there.
There's a great need.
Yes,
absolutely.
There's a lot of youths that could benefit from the program, and we want to advertise so we can spread the word and get it out there more. And so far, the response that we're getting from a lot of parents is that it's an amazing program, but we need the parents that do call and say, hey, I heard about your program from the different autistic community groups, you know, what is it about? We tell them, but sometimes we find that they don't want to come out. But I'm like, you got to come out and check out this program, because if you actually do, you would love it, and the kids would love it. Because the kids, there's one little boy we had a few weeks ago, he was literally sick, and his mom had to bring him. He didn't participate, but he's like, I want to go to play. So she had to bring him to the program, and he had to sit and watch for like 20 minutes. And then his mom was like, okay, can we go home now? And he's like, okay, yeah. So he didn't want to miss. That's how much he enjoyed the program.
That is a powerful thing.
Yes.
When a child is demanding
Yes.
to go somewhere, you know that's a great program.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, kudos to you and your
Thank
team.
you. Thank you.
Fantastic. So what's next for you?
So right now, we've currently applied for the readiness grant, and if we do get approved for that, we're actually not going to stop the program in the summertime. We're actually running the program full time throughout the full year.
Beautiful.
And a lot of parents like that, because even though the kids are doing summer camps, they still want something in the evenings that keeps the routine, because a lot of kids who are on the spectrum, they like that routine schedule.
Absolutely.
And having the program run full time would be totally amazing for the kids.
Yes, yes. Yeah, from what I know of autism, pervasive disorder, so routine is very necessary in maintaining trust and consistency. So that's very good. Well, I wish you all the best with that. And what kind of supports do you need? Are you looking for donations or volunteers?
We're always looking for donation. We're always looking for volunteer. We are constantly trying to promote the word and spread the word about the program, because again, we want to do like a Scarborough location. We want to do a North York location. We want to do Halton. We want to do Caledon, Georgetown. And I think if we can do that and grow the program, I think it'd be amazing.
It will be amazing.
Thank you.
And I see it happening. So how can people connect with you on social media?
So people can connect with me on social media through our website, which is www.playinc.org. And we are on Facebook and Twitter at Play for Autism and Play Inc. Thank you.
Amazing work. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, bye-bye.
Voceta Frempong, the founder of Play Inc. Please reach out to her, and we'll be back.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience, or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.